Okay, I'm going to explain altitudes and orthocenter, which is the second part of 5.4. This is the last of the 4 triangle centers that we've learned. Today we're going to talk about altitude. So altitude is a perpendicular segment that connects a vertex to the opposite side. So comparing this to what we've already learned about a perpendicular bisector starts anywhere really, but it always has to divide the opposite side in 2 equal pieces, and it has to meet at a 90-degree angle. So what we've already learned looks something like this. It could meet at something like this, where it starts anywhere, it meets it at a 90-degree angle, and divides it into 2 equal pieces. That's a perpendicular bisector. Today in altitude, it's still perpendicular, but it starts at the vertex. It has to start at the vertex. So this one is a little bit different. This one's the easiest example. AB is an altitude. It starts at a vertex. It goes perpendicular to the opposite side. It gets a little bit more interesting when you're looking at right triangles and obtuse triangles. When you have a right triangle and it starts at this vertex and it has to go perpendicular to this opposite side, the only way to do that is to go right along the part of the triangle. So AB is part of the triangle, but AB is also the altitude, which is technically the height of the triangle. If you look at the obtuse triangle, if I start at A and I have to go perpendicular to this opposite side, it's really impossible to go through the middle and make that line be perpendicular. So what we have to do is extend this line like I have on my notes here. And the altitude starts at A, and it goes perpendicular over here to point B. And that's okay because this line is still part of that triangle. It's extended out. So know that the altitude can be inside the triangle, part of the triangle, or even outside the triangle. The biggest thing I want you to take away from today is being able to see the difference of all the things that we've already talked about. A median we know starts at a vertex and it ends at a midpoint on the opposite side. This one's none. This just is a random line, to be quite honest. It shows that C is a midpoint, but it doesn't show you anything about D. So that one's just a random line. This one is an altitude. It starts at a vertex and it goes perpendicular to the opposite side. We do not know if this is a perpendicular bisector because we don't know these 2 segments are the same. This one is a perpendicular bisector because it meets it at a 90-degree angle, divides it into 2 equal segments. But notice where this line goes through. This is not an altitude because it doesn't go through this point. So that's important to see. It is possible for it to be an altitude and a perpendicular bisector. In this case, it is not. Taking this a step further, I have a separate video that shows you the construction of altitudes. This one's probably one of the tougher ones. The triangle that I made, try to darken this a little bit so you can see where I'm talking about. This is the triangle that I did my construction on. Notice that I continued my lines because when you do the construction, it may not meet that triangle within the triangle or the side within the triangle. So you can see that the dark pencil lines is my triangle. The dark pink lines is my construction. So this pink line is an altitude. It starts at this vertex and it goes 90 degrees to the opposite side. This pink line is an altitude. It starts at this vertex and it goes perpendicular to the opposite side. This is an altitude, starts at this vertex, it goes perpendicular to the opposite side also. So these 3 pink lines meet at this point, which is called an orthocenter. So orthocenter is the meeting point of 3 altitudes of a triangle. There's nothing further to know about orthocenter other than knowing that it's the meeting point of the 3 altitudes. When you do your homework today, this website is going to be helpful for you. This is the one that I introduced on 5.2. This is where you can play with the triangles with the 4 different kinds of constructions. And the homework does put a lot of the different ideas together. This is going to be very helpful to you. So you might want to jot that down in your notes. And this is your homework for today.